It's time for JUCO Jam, presented to you by Dream Big Athletics, hosted by Tad Slowick, an exciting new podcast bringing you all the great action from JUCO baseball. Here you'll find weekly updates from around the country, highlighting the teams, players, and coaches who impact the game at the junior college level. Everything you want to learn about JUCO baseball can be found here and on our website at dreambigathletics.com. There you'll find our weekly team rankings, the top player rankings headed into the spring, and all the news of what is happening in the game at the junior college level. On this show, you will have many guests, coaches, players who will give us insight on the day-to-day, behind-the-scenes working of junior college baseball. And now our host, Tad Slowick.
Welcome, baseball fans, to the JUCO Jam podcast. I'm your host, Tad Slowick, and I'm here today with my sidekick, Lou Temple. And we are going to be discussing the Division II and Division III junior college rankings and preview to the season. Hey, Lou, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Tad. Thanks again for having me. This is a lot of fun, and we know that there's some good baseball players and good baseball teams in both of these rankings, and they cannot be overlooked. So that's why we're talking about them today.
Right. It's going to be exciting, getting the year ready to go here at the Division II and Division III levels.
Well, that's exciting. Let's jump right in and start with the Division II top rankings. Starting at number 1, we have Pearl River.
Headed to Mississippi State at the top of their rotation. Good-looking kid. And then they got a left-hander, Byron Robinson. And they also got Cooper Cooksey, Landon Payne, Blake Hooks, Bobby McGee. I mean, they are just not only got talent on the mound, they got depth. So they're going to be a tough task to take them in a weekend series, that's for sure.
Will all of those pitchers get enough innings over the course of the year, or how will he split up his starts and
yeah,
bullpen?
all those guys will get plenty of action, and I think that the way that he used his staff last year was outstanding, and I think they're going to be ready to go. So I mean, they're loaded, they're ready to defend a title, and they're going to be an awful tough team to beat.
That's amazing that they've had as many returners as they do coming back, that they just didn't get cherry picked, and good for him for holding on to players and defending.
Yeah, a lot of time these guys just need that extra year of maturity and development, and to be prepared to go on to the to the 4-year schools, and all of them are going to 4-year schools. They got a lot of kids committed, and all these guys that I mentioned right now are going somewhere. So to Division I baseball. So they'll be an exciting team to watch, and they got a great ballpark down there, and it's a great place to watch a game. And I got a chance to get down there last year, and I'll definitely go this year. It's a fun place to watch baseball.
Well, good for them following up, and the number 2 seed is Heartland.
Yeah, I mean, Heartland also just loaded with talent. Chris Razzo, the coach there, has done a great job, and they got some returners too. They got the big three, I call them: Sam Antonacci, their shortstop; Ben Hartle, their catcher; and Bobby Atkinson, their outfielder. And all these three guys put up monster numbers as freshmen. I mean, they really swung the bats good and scored a lot of runs, and carried them to the World Series last year. They fell just a little short, but they got these guys coming back, and then they added guys on the mound. That's what's really going to be a difference maker for Heartland this year. I mean, they got Isaiah Jackson, who touched 98 this fall, a good-looking kid who's really come on and developed. Meade Johnson, who's a mid-90s guy also. He's headed to Maryland. And then they got Cy Cox also too, and they're pretty loaded on the mound too. They got depth also, and they just got a well balanced team, and they're ready to go. I mean, them and Pearl River, they're pretty loaded with talent.
Well, that's exciting to hear that Pearl River will have some competition in the rosters at the least.
Yeah, they definitely will. I mean, it's gonna be an exciting year at this level. The teams up here at the ranked at the top of this list are all pretty stacked with talent.
How about number 3, Kirkwood?
Yeah, Kirkwood, another team with a lot of talent. They got Joe Simpson, outfielder, who's just got tools and such a high ceiling, and he's a guy who's going to produce for them, and be a guy who's going to hit in the middle of the order and steal some bases, play some defense, and pretty much be their do-it-all guy. And then they got Noah Firk at shortstop, also another very good athlete. That's what they got on the team. They got some strong athletic kids. Noah Firk can play that defense and will produce with the bat also. And then they got big thumper Kyle Hayes, who can really swing the bat in the middle of the order. He's got some big time power, should produce some big numbers for them. And then outfielder Miles Risley will also be a factor for them. On the mound, they got depth too and talent. Zach Sabres is a guy who came on this fall. He's up to 94, and he's a conversion guy from a catcher, but he's really looks good on the mound, and the ball comes out of his hand real good. You got Logan Rundy, also, and Aiden Rath. They got Gannon Archer, who's going to Iowa. They got Nick Scanlon. So they not only got talent on the mound, they got some depth on the mound too. So they got a loaded lineup and a loaded bullpen and pitching staff. So, it's amazing. We've only been through these three teams, and we've already gone over a lot of quality players.
A lot of talent right there. Following up at number 4, we have Madison.
Yeah, Madison, another team with talent. Mike Davenport does a great job getting his team prepared, ready to go, and he's able to get a lot of talent in that program and do some really good things. They're a perennial power. They went to the championship game last year and just got barely knocked off by Pearl River in the championship game. But they got Gabe Ressler, who's a really interesting kid. Yeah, he's a super athlete, plays shortstop for them. I also saw him in center field, and he could run him down pretty good there too. He reminds me a little bit of like Hunter Pence, just kind of like a wild colt that's got a lot of talent. And
that's exciting.
they're yeah, I mean, he's just kind of a fun guy to watch play, a live body, and just is a guy who goes out and gets after it. So he's fun to watch. And then he got Carter Stabane back, who could really swing the bat also. On the mound, they got some good depth. Eli Hoyt was a little dinged up this fall, but he was one of their top guns last year. And, he's the guy who's capable of shutting anybody down. And, he could pitch. He's got good stuff. And, he's going to be their top guy. They got Chris Byree also, who I saw in the fall. He was up to 94. And then they got lefty Alex Hayes that is going to be a big guy on the mound for them. And then, they should have some guys that come out of the woodwork that they recruited this year that I'm sure are going to have great seasons because they're always prepared and ready to go.
Well, sounds like they have a good program as well, and I'm sure this number 5 seed team does. Meridian at number 5.
Yeah, Meridian. They always seem to be able to compete with the big dogs, and they're going to have to this year. They got Pearl River down there, LSU Eunice, and they got that tough Mississippi group to battle with this year. But they're ready to go. They got some talent, led by on the mound by Gunnar Dennis, left-handed pitcher. He's headed to Ole Miss. Cole Boswell, another pitcher for them, is going to do a great job. Him and Dalton McIntyre are headed to Southern Miss. Dalton McIntyre is a left-hander, but they also got a guy, Waylon Sebring, who's going to be a good guy for them. So I mean, they got talent on the mound. I mean, they're going to be able to stay in a lot of games, a lot of tough games because they can pitch. So they're going to do a great job on the mound.
Well, staying in that Louisiana state of mind, LSU Eunice. Woo! How they
Yeah,
doing?
LSU Eunice, perennial power. They've been national champions several times, and they got a great program there. And they're led by Patrick Vienna. He's back for them. He was 11-1 last year with a 2.69 earned run average, and he's back to top off their rotation. Starter to lean on there. And then they got outfielder Alex Saunier, should do real well for them in the lineup. And, they got a couple other newcomers who are going to really be a force for them. So they'll be ready to go.
Okay. At number 7, we have Lansing.
Lansing went to the World Series last year also. They'll get tough competition from Kellogg, who's later down here on the list, and it'll be a battle between those two to see who goes again. They're led by Hunter Lay, outfielder. I mean, now this kid just a big, strong, athletic kid who could really swing the bat. I mean, I saw him hit this fall, and he just puts the barrel on the ball consistently, and does a great job. He's going to be their big thumper, along with they got Chris Hedges and Noah Bright, also catcher. Peyton Mazzola in center field, and just have a good lineup that's going to be tough to get outs on. Also, they got Matt McKeon on the mound, and should be able to have a couple other guys step up. Will be good on the mound too, but they're going to have a very strong lineup.
Following up at number 8, how about Lincoln Land?
Yeah, Lincoln Land, like I said, always tough. They got some tough competition because they're in the same region as Heartland and Parkland, and that's going to be a heck of a talented region there. And Lincoln Land's is going to be led by Mitch Dye. He was a good-looking guy we saw this fall. Up to 94, just a big, strong kid who's really come on and developed this year, and he's going to be a force for them. They got Trent Kohler, who's a shortstop. He can also pitch too, up to 90 on the mound also, and so he's going to be a two-way guy for them. And then they'll be led by Grant Pullman behind the plate, catching and really doing a good, solid job taking care of the staff.
All right. And number 9, Frederick.
All right, Frederick. They went to the World Series again last year. They were 42-7. Congratulations to Coach Rodney Bennett, who was elected to the Hall of Fame here in the NJCAA class of 2023. Coach Bennett brought in a bunch of good newcomers, and he's going to be a force to be reckoned with this year. He'll have that team ready to go, and I look for big things out of them during the season.
Great. Good. And congratulations, Coach. At number 10, we have Murray State.
Yeah, Murray State, another World Series team. They're led by a big thumper outfielder named Garrett Gruel. They're going to have a good, strong lineup, and they're going to be able to pitch pretty well too. And I think they're going to be have another good season here and make a good run here at the end.
At number 11, we have Kellogg.
Kellogg again. They're going to be battling Lansing. It's those two each year, and they're led by first baseman Aiden Abergast. They got a guy I really like, the third baseman, Brett Stanley. He's a really good player. I mean, he could play defense. He seems to be like their catalyst and the guy who can make some things happen. So he gets them going pretty good. He plays third base for them and can swing the bat. They got Donovan Thompson also, first baseman, who could swing the bat also. And then on the mound, they'll be led by Sean Knorr, who was a big, strong right-handed pitcher. So he'll be the top of the rotation.
And how about number 12? That would be Pitt.
Yeah, Pitt is going to have another strong year. They're led behind the plate by Riker Galaska, who's going to the University of North Carolina commit. And then on the mound, they're going to be led by left-hander Will Gervase, who's going to Wake Forest. So they got two stars to lead their team there.
At number 13, Mercer County.
Mercer County, they lost quite a few players from last year's team, but they got left-handed pitcher Brett Mutz and right-handed pitcher Andrew Luzak. They got Marco Martinez also, and Dan Ciotti, the outfielder. So they got some guys coming back who are going to be strong for them, and especially on the mound. Their lineup, they'll be solid, but they're expecting some of the new guys to step up a little bit. And
got it. Well, number 14, I think you see them play quite a bit, Iowa Central.
Yeah, Iowa Central is going to be strong again this year. Eric Stein will have that team ready to go. they got some good quality players and are going to be have a good lineup and be able to pitch pretty well too. They got some good competition in the area with Kirkwood and Des Moines area, North Iowa area. So they play in a tough region, but they've been a strong team over the past several years.
At number 15, Parkland.
Parkland, again, had kind of a little disappointing year for them last year. They're usually a little better. This year they got recruited some good kids. They got Tyler Heron behind the plate, who will catch a pretty good staff led by Alex Pipes and Sebastian Gutierrez and Sam Bryan. So they're going to have a good pitching staff, a good guy to anchor it behind the plate, and should be able to get some good things going with their lineup this year. They're going to have I think this can be a good bounce back year for them. I think you'll hear a lot about them during the season.
Oh, they'll be good to keep an eye on then. I'm hopeful for them. At number 16, we have Des Moines area.
Right. Des Moines area, Nick Mishler has brought some good kids in there. They got some guys coming back, and I think they're just going to be a team that's going to really break out this year. They got maybe one of the best hitters in the country in all JUCO baseball with Reed Stallman, first baseman. Guy can really swing the bat, light tower power. They got a couple of good athletes in Brody Cresser, the shortstop. He's headed to West Virginia. He's going to anchor down to infield. And then they got a guy, Gage Frank, a super athlete, big, strong kid, 6'3", center fielder who can run him down in the outfield. They also brought in a guy at break here, Joe Husak, right-handed pitcher, who's going to be kind of the ace of their staff and be a guy who's going to lead them on the mound.
Sounds like they'll be tough once they get out of the gym, out of the snow, yeah?
Right.
Number 17 is Delaware Tech.
Yeah, Delaware Tech, good every year. They'll be solid again this year. They've gotten off to good starts during each year, and I think they're going to be a good, solid club this year, both on offense and defense.
Okay. At number 18, Phoenix.
Phoenix, College World Series team, again, also too. Had a good run last year. They're pretty solid. They're going to have to make it through that tough Arizona conference and region, but I expect good things about them. They got a good shortstop named Alan Rosas, who's going to anchor down that lineup in that infield and do a great job.
At number 19, Kankakee.
So, no, this is Todd Post. I've known Todd forever, and he does a great job with that program. And they're a little young this year, self-admitted. He's looking for some things out of some of his younger players, and he'll have them ready to go. Todd runs a good ship down there, and he's gonna have those kids ready to play, and they're gonna play hard, and they'll be ready to go for this year. It'll be interesting to see which ones of their young kids step up.
Okay, and number 20 is Florida State Jacksonville.
Yep. Florida State at Jacksonville had a great run at the end of last year to get to the World Series. They're going to have to deal with Pasco, Hernando, and Palm Beach State to get out of their region again. But they're a good club and well-coached team. They got Jack Giddem. He's a middle-of-the-order type guy that they're going to rely on him. And they got a lot of newcomers this year, so it'll be interesting to see how they start off and, how they develop during the year. But that team will be ready to go down the stretch like they were last year.
I imagine they will be. And at number 21, U of A Rich Mountain.
UA Rich Mountain, good, solid program, solid club. They'll be ready to go this year also.
At number 22, we have Hines.
Yeah, Hines is a good, solid club. They could pitch and throw strikes. Their lineup is pretty solid, and I think they're gonna be a good, solid, competitive club. They're gonna have to, like I said, tackle, Pearl River and LSU Eunice, Meridian, all those schools down there. So they're gonna try to be a force.
Following them up will be at number 23, McHenry.
Yeah, McHenry is a team I like right here in my backyard. They got Mason Schwalbeck back last year, who was just a monster at the plate. Put up some big numbers. He's a catcher for them. He was injured this fall, but he'll be ready to go come springtime. And there's another kid I like on the team, Alex Janke, who's center fielder, a strong, athletic kid who could really run him down in the outfield, swings the bat real good, and does just a great job. So they're going to be strong up the middle, and they got led on the staff by Dylan Petrie, so right-handed pitcher. So he'll lead that staff, and they're going to be a good, solid club this year.
Very good. At number 24, Pasco Hernando State.
Yeah, I saw Pasco this weekend past weekend down in Florida. They got some big, strong kids. They're going to have a solid club led on the mound by Shea Yeager. They're going to, they look pretty solid coming out of the gate, and I think they're going to be a good club throughout the year.
And rounding out our top 25, we have at number 25, Western Oklahoma.
Yeah, well, Western Oklahoma is a good, strong club every year. They're going to be pretty new this year with some newcomers, and they're going to be a solid club this year. And I think they're going to be able to battle and compete real well on the mound and with their lineup.
Very good. So that's our top 25 for the Division II junior college rankings. You have some honorable mentions here, Tad, too. Are there any teams you'd like to talk about?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple teams, North Iowa area. Also, Austin Klug, right-handed pitcher for them, is going to be a strong guy. Cade Peliquin, outfielder, will be strong for them. Paradise Valley out of Arizona. They got a left-handed pitcher, Caden Drew, over there, who's going to be the top of their staff. Scottsdale's got a real interesting club led by Caden Collins, right-handed pitcher. He's headed to Kansas. They also got an outfielder on that club named Mike Piazza, who's an outfielder who can swing the bat. Jones from Mississippi will be a strong club. They're led by left-handed pitcher Bo Bryans and Drew Drunkenmiller. So they got two pretty good guys at the top of their rotation who should be a factor for them and keep them in a lot of ball games.
Shall we jump into Division III then? Let's focus on the top 10, starting with number 1, Herkimer.
Herkimer defending Division III national champions, and they're loaded again. They got really a lot of depth on the mound and in their lineup. Led by Dakota Britt, outfielder, last year had 14 homers. Giovanni Wiggs is their center fielder who runs them down for him in the outfield. Chance Checo, infielder, is going to swing the bat and play good defense. And then they got their big guy, Ethan Duda, at first base, who could really swing the bat for them. So they're going to have a strong lineup. They're even better maybe on the mound, led by Troy Butler, the right-handed pitcher. I mean, he's really got good stuff. He's going to be their ace. They got Logan Marquez, Joel Hamer, and Derek Hotzler, who also are going to be factors for them on the mound. So they're going to have a strong lineup and a strong staff. So they're all poised, ready to repeat.
Well, that's why they're ranked number 1 for you. Coming in at number 2, Niagara County.
Yeah, Niagara County, perennial strong team. They'll be led on the mound by Ryan Burchard, right-handed pitcher who's just a strong kid with great stuff. He's going to lead that staff. They got Hunter Loomis behind the plate, who's going to anchor that defense down, as well as middle infielder Howie Stuckey. Both these guys can swing the bat good, and they'll be good on defense. These Niagara consistently each year can really pitch and play defense really well.
Good to hear. Good to hear. Number 3, DC Richland.
GC Richland is going to be a good, strong club, both on the mound and up at the plate. They're going to have a strong lineup. Their lineup will be led by Jack Erickson, infielder for them, and they'll be able to swing the bat pretty good.
Okay, number 4, Caldwell Tech.
Yeah, Caldwell Tech is going to be poised for another strong year. They got left-handed pitcher slash first baseman Hayden Setzer, who was 9-0 last year on the mound. He also could swing the bat really good, put up some real good numbers. They got another two-way guy, Steven Smith, who's a right-handed pitcher and second baseman for him, also put up great numbers on the mound and in the field. So they got a couple two-way guys to lead their gang this year. They also have outfielder Breon Ishmael back, who had 10 home runs last year. And then they got catcher Jake Beber, who's going to be a solid guy behind the plate, catch and throw guy who can swing the bat also.
Number 5, RCSJ Gloucester.
Yeah, Rowan County, South Jersey, Gloucester. Definitely is going to be a big-time factor this year. They were ranked number 1 most of last year. They're, again, going to have another strong year. Also, led by left-handed pitcher Ethan Schaub. He's back for them. He was 8-0 last year and just dominated. So, having him back is going to be a big factor for them. And then Aaron Graber, outfielder, who hit 9 home runs last year, will be back. And then you got Jimmy Bruno at shortstop. You got Rocco Brezeniak at third base. And Felix Diaz also hit 384 for them last year. So they're going to have a real strong lineup, led on the mound, obviously, by Ethan Schaub.
Okay. At number 6, Northern Essex.
Well, Northern Essex had a monster year last year. I mean, they had a great run, a great record, got off to a good start and stayed strong the whole year and just had an outstanding year. They're led by right-handed pitcher Jaden Volker, who was 8-2 this past year. They have a left-handed pitcher Jager Iavanelli back. He was 5-0 for them. And then they also got Alex Sweeney, who was 7-0 for them. So they got 3 guys back on the mound who were great performers for them last year. And, and if they need help out of the pen, they got Tristan Ciampa coming back to close for them. So also our second baseman, Chris Bear, hit 417 for them. And outfielder Cameron Lavas, he hit 412 for them also. So they had some guys who really put up some huge numbers last year. And, I think Northern Essex is going to, have a repeat year. And hopefully this year they can, finish the job and go all the way.
We'll look for big things out of them and their lineup. At number 7, we have DC Eastfield.
And DC Eastfield, I might be a little light on them. I mean, they got some guys back who are pretty good. They got Chris Dickens back, who's third baseman, right-handed pitcher. He was National Player of the Year at Division III, and he was just a stud for them last year, both in the field, up at the plate, and on the mound. And he's back this year. They got Angel Rodriguez back, who had 20 homers, also. And then they got Cade Conway and Jaden Morgan back also. So got some pretty good guys to.
Okay. At number 8, we have RCSJ Cumberland.
Cumberland is going to be ready to have another good year. I think they'll be very strong in their lineup and up at the plate. I think they got a good, solid pitching staff coming back, and they're going to be have to battle with Gloucester to get out of that region. But the battle between them, that rivalry between those two, is unbelievable and be very spirited.
Well, it's interesting, Tad, because these last 4 teams, Gloucester, Essex, Eastfield, and Cumberland, those are all towns over in the UK. My missus is British, so we bounce through some of those towns. And
right.
All right. Well, here we are all the way to number 9, and this is Erie.
Erie really had a strong team. They had a good lineup last year. I expect the same from them. They're going to swing the bats. They need some guys to step up on the mound. If they get a few guys to step up on the mound this year, I think they're going to have another strong season. They made some great strides last year and are going to be a force up there in the Northeast.
And rounding out the top 10 is Oakton.
Oakton, Bill Frotto have those guys ready. They're a team that seems to go to the World Series year in and year out. Um, they're led this year. They got a bounce back catcher from Central Florida, Matt Dworsky. A guy who could really swing the bat and catch and throw to anchor down that team and that pitching staff. I think he's going to have a monster year and be able to lead that club. And I think they're going to be back again to the World Series. DuPage and a couple of those other clubs in their region might have something to say about it, but it just seems like Oakton always has a strong club.
And they get the job done. So that rounds out our top 10 in Division III junior college rankings. Tad, are there any other teams that you might want to make mention of in the lower region of your rankings and even in your honorable mentions?
And all these teams down at the rest of the thing are strong. I think a lot of them are bringing in new players for this year. They're teams that have been perennial powers and should produce a pretty good season. They're going to all be pretty solid. I like Bergen down there. Also, they got Dan Karitzis on the mound, who's a really good pitcher for them to lead that staff. So, they should have some pitching this year. And the rest of the clubs down there are going to be a kind of little bit more wait and see. But they're teams that have produced in the past, and they're teams that should be strong again this year.
Well, there you have it, and that rounds out both our Division II and our Division III rankings as far as conversation goes. And again, a tribute to you, Tad, for having seen so many of these teams, so many of these players, to have a good evaluation of not only where they are now, but where they might be towards the end of the year. And that's so exciting and such a gift to all you listeners. And if you want to follow up, these rankings will be adjusted over the course of the season for sure. And thanks so much, Tad, for
Yeah, and I'm really looking forward to a good year. And I'm, like I said, with the Division Three group, I think it's a little bit of wait and see who emerges down at the bottom. Who's going to make a play for the top. All just good programs that have consistently played well. And that's the one good thing about the Division Three level is, it's interesting to see the kids who come out and really produce during the season. So it'll be, fun. Looking forward to seeing who's there. And you could follow all the action of JUCO baseball, Division I, Division II, Division III level. We're going to have all the coverage for you. We're not going to let any stone go unturned, and we're going to make sure that we stay on top of everything this season, so that we bring you the best information possible about all these great programs and these great teams and great players. JUCO baseball is loaded again at all levels, and I'm really excited to see these teams get going and get playing. One interesting thing with the Division III level too is a lot of these teams are more northern teams, so it'll be interesting to see how they get out of the gym. So it's always a little bit of a crapshoot come the beginning of the year.
Well, speaking of that, I checked your temperature this morning, and it said 7 degrees.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, that wasn't with the wind chill though.
oh my God.
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
thankfully, I think you're heading to Florida this
Yeah, I'm
weekend.
headed for that big Panama City tournament at Division One. Lot of ranked teams. That's the biggest tournament really of the spring, as far as having all the top teams in the country together in one place, or most of them at least. So uh, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be great baseball, and you can follow me on Twitter. I'll have all the action, the play-by-play from down there. Who's playing well? What teams are doing well? You'll hear the whole scoop from me, and then we'll have a podcast next week to talk about after the weekend, to talk about how the weekend went. So
That's right. We'll do a recap from your travels, reminding everyone to follow Tad at Tad Slowick _DBA.
That's right. And then go to dreambigathletics.com for all the info. Also, all these rankings that we had talked about today are all there, and all the information, as much information as we possibly can, will be there. So we look forward to it. I look forward to another episode with you, Lou. So thanks again for being with us. I know you're having fun and enjoying getting to know junior college baseball a little better too.
No question about it. It's always eye opening at the level of talent that's out there playing that you're seeing. So, thanks for the invitation to be part of this. I say, whoo, fishing's fine. Let's go out and play ball, see some ball.
That's right. Let's play ball. So, join us on the next episode of JUCO Jam, where we'll talk about the upcoming weekend series and have a recap on that. So thanks again, Lou. And this is Tad Slowick with JUCO Jam signing off.
You've been listening to JUCO Jam. For all your junior college needs, go to dreambigathletics.com and make sure to tune in to next week's episode of JUCO Jam.